guys, I'm Prodegy from Airsoft Team Kilo 23. This is the second part of a series of 2 videos that will go over everything you need to know about the DeepFire full tune-up kit for the M4A1. Now in this video, I'll be showing you how to install the DeepFire tune-up kit, which is this guy, inside of my Matrix Tactical Systems M4A1. I love this weapon, and with the DeepFire tune-up kit installed in it, it's going to be an even more awesome weapon. Remember, you can get the DeepFire full tune-up kit for the M4, the AK-47, and the MP5 at Airsplat.com for $110 each. I highly recommend them. They have some of the least expensive parts on the internet for Airsoft. Alright, let's begin. I've got the gearbox open. I've got all the parts removed that the kit came with, so I can go ahead and install those. The things that I've changed out, other than the parts that I'll be installing in a moment, I've installed a Classic Army gear set. They're really great gears. I've had these for about 4 years and I've never broken a tooth off them, which is awesome. And I've also installed a stock Classic Army motor, which is, it'll pull about an M130 spring, M140 up there. So it's gonna be a great setup, and the sound is like awesome with the gears and the motor being from the same company. Like I said before, consistency is everything in an airsoft gun. So let's go ahead and start with just the basics. So first things first, you've got a piston and a piston head, and the piston head is not attached to the piston yet, so you got to unscrew it, take the bearings off, and sometimes they kind of stick there, so you go ahead and stick that in there so it kind of sits there. Take your bearings and your shaft and your screw wherever that wandered off to, and you can set that on the end of your screwdriver and put it off the shaft and push until it's on the end, so you can go ahead and screw it into your piston. Make sure it's good and tight. You don't want this thing wiggling off, or else it won't be good at all. Trust me, I have had to fix a lot of stock guns where the piston head fell off because the metal piece behind it that it screws into, that big chunk of pot metal, it stripped out, and it really screwed up the guns. So that's the first step that you want to take here. Now, for stuff like this, you're going to get some grease. I've got some Mad Bull gear grease and some Mad Bull cylinder grease. The gear grease you can also use for the piston. Now, you're going to want to take out the O-ring to lubricate the piston. You can take some cylinder grease and you're going to want to rub it all over this piston, the O-ring of the piston. And of course you're going to want to get some kind of cloth to wipe your hands off, because you don't want greasy hands all the time. Go ahead and slip that back on. It's a pretty nice O-ring, really. It's pretty flexible, so you're going to get a great air seal. Next up, you're going to want to take your cylinder, put some grease on your finger, go all up in there. You don't want it too thick of a coat of grease. It's going to make a mess. Take a little bit of grease, put it on the O-rings on the cylinder head, and you go ahead and press that in there. Make sure this is flush with it, or else it won't seat properly in the gearbox shell. Next up, you're going to want to take a little bit more grease, put it on the shaft of the cylinder head. That way the nozzle can get a good air seal. Now that you got everything lubricated, you can go ahead and stick that on there. Install your tap plate onto the bottom of the nozzle, and roll your cylinder head, tap plate, and nozzle into place, and make sure they install properly. They sit flush with the opposite side of the gearbox shell. I have done the installation of this kit. You can go ahead and install the tap plate spring here so that it's set up. Springs nice and easily. Now, gonna have to install several parts next. Piston and piston head can go straight up in there. That's already getting a great air seal, so putting a lot of pressure on it with the spring is gonna just make some awesome FPS right there. Now, I don't have a chrono device, so I can't chrono this thing. Apologize for that. Go ahead and install your anti-reversal latch. To get set, you're going to want to hold this down so that everything stays put. Wiggle everything into place. You're going to want to take a little Allen key or something and make sure everything falls into place the way it should. And there we go. You just got to install the screws. And in a moment here, I'll do a quick firing test for you down here. Alright guys, I'm a fan of cardboard boxes. I'm shooting them up. So this gun should be shooting about 400 to 420 feet per second with the 120 spring and all the DeepFire parts installed on it. Now I'm using a 9.6 volt Nunchuck 1600 type MAW type battery. Now this is a great setup, and just put some rounds through a cardboard box and some fun. It's getting a great FPS. You can put some pretty good dings in that wood sitting right behind the cardboard box.